Hey there everybody! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And in today's video we're going to be continuing this painting that we started a few videos ago, where we painted the sky, the clouds and finally these mountains. I'm going to paint another mountain in today's video. So we're going to start off, which I've done already, by putting some black and some white on our canvas again. And I'm just going to come in here with our palette knife again, and we're going to use the exact same technique, but this time we're going to create a much smaller mountain than we did in the past. So what you've got to do with your palette knife is you want to thin the paint out. I haven't got very much black paint on here, to be honest, because I am running out, but you want to thin the paint out and just get a nice roll of paint and just decide where you want your peak. So I want my peak of my mountain to be about there. And then what you do then, just grab your paintbrush and drag the paint downwards on either side, just using the side of the brush, completely clean, no paint on this brush or anything, just a little bit of water on the brush, and you drag down the paint like that. I'm going to get another roll of paint on here. I'm going to go from the peak, I'm going to go down this way and this way, just to add a little bit more paint on there. Just gonna go like that with my palette knife, get a bit more paint on there, switch back to the bigger brush, just a dash of water, and start using this bigger brush to drag your paint on down the mountain. And we're just going to fill in the gaps here. Just dip this brush in a little bit of water again. And get a nice edge going there. So yeah, this mountain is going to, cover up part of the other mountain, but that doesn't really matter. So we're just getting, once again, exact same technique. Using the palette knife, get a nice peak on there. Use the bigger brush to spread it out and bring it down. And then we've basically just got the basic shape of our mountain without any details or nothing. This one's going to be a lot shorter, a lot wider than the other one. Was originally quite pointy, and I had to kind of fan it out towards the bottom just to make a bit of make it a bit wider at the bottom. It look better then. And just adding a bit of shadow to that mountain there, because like we said in the other video, what we did, right, was in a minute, once this dries, we grabbed a pencil and we just went down and split the mountain in half, just to get, your sort of two sort of halves on there, like, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to fade out some of this shading. It's just a bit of shading just to show that this is obviously the darker side of the mountain. Just literally getting the lightest amount of white on and just add a little bit of shading, a little bit of snow while on this side, while the other side dries. Blending it in, fading that into each other. Just darkening this corner up a bit, creating a little bit of texture to this mountain, yeah. especially at the bottom, where it's going to be less snowy and more sort of rocky. There we are. That's our one side sort of done. Just kind of doing the other side now. Just doing this, you know, because I'm just waiting for the other mountain to dry. So we're just neatening this one up a bit, really. Just I'm very lightly touching the canvas with my brush here. Yeah, I like how that looks. That's great. That looks great to me. You know, obviously, I'm gonna have to wait for this bit to dry now, which is basically is. So I'm gonna put my brush in the bowl to soak for a minute, and I'm gonna grab a pencil again. Just a normal standard HB pencil. You can't really see the lines super well, but just kind of go like roughly down the middle of your mountain, but like make it a bit jagged and a bit rough, so we've got the sort of halfway point, if you will. You know what I mean? So yeah, that probably needs a little bit of time to dry off for a minute, which is fine. So I'll be back once that bit dries. Right, we're back now that that other mountain has dried. So now we're going to put some snow on top of the mountain. So remembering as well that we'll have one side darker, one side lighter, like we've done with this one. It's where the light is coming from. Probably from this side, you know. So I'm just gonna start at the top of the mountain here, ever so lightly touching that mountain with my brush. Let's turn the palette around here so you can see it a bit better. So we're just gonna drag some white paint down the side of this mountain, just using the corner of the brush. There we go. And we're going to do the same to the top of this one. It's actually a lot easier to use the bigger brush, I find. Even though like it's bigger and there's like more chance of like getting paint in bits that you don't want to get paint, it's a lot easier actually. And that's the thing about artsy, you just gotta like find what works for you, really. You just gotta find, like, you know, the last technique I was trying to use the palette knife and that smaller brush. Well, I mean, that's a good technique. That's the technique I used for this one, but I wanted to show this technique as well, which I find a lot easier as using the bigger brush. Similar sort of thing. We're still going in a V shape. It's just for the initial bit of detail we're using this bigger brush. So yeah, we're still going in this upside down V sort of shape, and we still gotta fill out some of the edges here. We're probably still using, you know, the small brush to neaten it up a bit, and just filling out some of these edges as I go down. And yeah, now I'm going to start probably using the smaller brush just to neaten up the edges a little bit. Again, just going in an upward motion and then down. There we go, there's our very peak there. Just literally just use the tip of the brush to do that then. Right, we've got our edge, so now we can start working on it. Same as last time, just making it look a bit more jagged and stuff, a bit more rocky. So we're using this small brush for these details now. Small thin brush. Just going on down, just like so. And just fading and blending those edges in now. Just with some circular motion with this small brush. Find these edges a bit more. And at the bottom, yeah, I'm going to start using a bit more of a grey colour, because it's going to have a bit of a shadow on it from the other mountain, eh? So we're just going to start using a bit of grey down here to create the effect of the shadow from the other mountain. Just fixing up some of these edges, and then just ever so slightly in, blend that colour in as much as you can. Like I say, you can just keep playing around with these colours till you get the effect that you want, but on this side I'm just doing this because there's obviously going to be a bit of shade from the other mountain. So we're going to leave that to dry for now before we put any more paint on it. Once I finish these edges off, we're going to leave that dry before I put any more paint on it at all. That one there, that one there, that one there. Yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to wait for it to dry, and then we'll put more white down over the top of it just to finish it off then. But yeah, just literally fixing these edges up a little bit. Yeah, no, that's probably as, good as I'm gonna get it. Yeah, that's probably as good as I'm gonna get that edge. So we're gonna leave that grey paint to dry for now. It won't take long to dry though, so I might, do a little bit of shading over here while I wait. And yeah, no, that's fine. So yeah, we're gonna wait for that to dry now, and then we're gonna go back over with some white. Okay, so now we're back, and this paint is dried. So we're just gonna put some more snow on down this mountain. So where the grey sort of smudging ends, where I was fading that edge in, that's where we're going to start putting our paint down, and then dragging it out with this small flat brush. Using those upside down V shapes to help us craft this mountain. And we're just gonna do carefully a little bit on this edge, just rubbing some of that white paint in, just fading it in, blending it in wherever we need it. And we're just gonna go along very carefully along this edge, on down the mountain. Some here as well. Just dragging it along down that mountain. There we go. I think that's that side done. So this side we're just gonna fix the edges a little bit here. And we're just basically just going to do the same as we did on this side, just fix the edges and then shade them in. I'm going to use a smaller brush now just to get these ones done. Literally just fill in all those little dots in all those little gaps on the edge, all the little bits that come in from the background because of the texture of the canvas. And again, I'm just gonna use this brush to fade this out, and then we'll shade it all tidy then. Just getting rid of all these blue bits that are coming in from the background. Right, so I'm going to leave that to dry now, and then I'm going to get back to it. Okay, so we're back because the paint on this side is dry. So we're just going to shade these edges in. So we're going to darken them up a bit, and then come back down. I need to put a bit of white paint on my palette now. Just literally a little sprinkle of paint on my brush just to blend and shade in. Again now, this has got a bit light. It's got a bit light by there, so I just wanted to darken them bits up a little bit, and then we'll wait for that to dry and we'll come back down with the white then just to finish that off like. So I'm just going to do a bit of shading over this side again. Literally got hardly any paint on my brush at all. It's just shade this side in a little bit. There's something off. There's something off about that mountain in it, like this edge. I think I'm gonna fix that up actually while I wait for the other side to dry, because there's a bit of a like an overhang there, and it just doesn't look natural, you know. So I'm just gonna sort him out quickly. Careful not to get any paint on our new mountain there. So I'm going upwards now from the bottom. That's better. Fade him in around the edges a bit. Fix that up there now. The bottom there. There we go. Yeah, that's better. There was a bit of an overhang there, so I thought that looks a bit odd. Like, just gonna shade that bit in now. Blend it in with the rest of the painting. See, that's the thing I love about acrylics, is that you make a bit of a mistake, it's so easy to cover it up. I do need to try and use some different mediums though. I haven't really used anything else apart from played around a bit with watercolour and oil and stuff, but it's not the same. So I'm just going to shade this edge in a bit more. Yeah, no, I think that looks good. So we just need to fix this other side now by it. I'm going to start with this bit here, so yeah, we're just going to go kind of try and blend this grey in a little bit. Get those curved white lines back into it, into the dark. Get up and take a look at that now. Yeah, just get those curved lines back in there, just like we was before. There you go. So every so often I'm putting just a little curved streak of white just to get that curvature of the snow and the mountain back into it, dragging that paint along. And then at the top here we're gonna do the same sort of thing as we did before, where we got our middle line. We just make sure that middle line doesn't get faded out, because that's important. Those upside, like I keep saying about those upside down V shapes, that's what really crafts this mountain in the shape that we want it to be in. I'm just going to put a bit more in the middle here. Yeah, it's just the same. It's kind of repetitive, but it gets the job done of just like adding your lights, your darks, dragging that paint out, using a bigger brush, using a smaller brush, you know, putting some, you know, darks in and lights in and whatnot. So yeah, I think I'm almost done with that. That mountain is looking good now. I had some black streaks in on this side because this other mountain is like towering over this one and leaving a shadow like. So that's why we just put a bit of black on here to darken it up a bit. Shade it in, make a bit of a shadow. We got our shadow now, so we're just going to come back to the middle here. There we go. Yeah, that's looking great now. I just want to go a little bit darker at the bottom, yeah. Just literally now just doing a bit of shading is all. Like I always say as well, just play around with these colours again, just until you get them how you want them. There we go. Step back again and just take another look. Distance. Yeah, there we go. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much happy with that. I think I'm pretty much happy with that. There's just one last detail I need to put on there. Just going to use this small flat brush. More upside down V's, where miniature ones now, where the middle of that line is. Some of these we can drag them down if you like. All of them, just the bigger ones, and then do the same in the other direction. Diagonal lines all the way, and then just drag some of them so that we've got the similar sort of effect, sort of the middle of the mountain. You know what I mean? I always like to go with, you know, sharp details like this. Just using my palette knife now. Emphasize on these peaks in the middle here a bit more. Just literally just the last little fine details of this painting. Just using up the last of this white paint here. Just using the same sort of cutting technique that I've used in other videos now. And yeah, I think that'll probably do it. I'm literally just doing this to use up the last of this paint is all. Literally just touching the canvas, emphasizing on these peaks, the middle sort of split of the mountain that I showed you before. Just being careful Too much paint on there. This is the last touching of snow on top of this mountain now. There we are. That'll do. I think this episode is done. The next episode we're gonna be painting maybe some trees or something on the side, tiny little ones. We'll see. This could be done in this painting, I don't know, in this video, I don't know yet. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and that's it from me for now.